Come with me to one of my favorite places in Stratford, and let's chat with the owner, Pamela, about what it's like to run your own business. I am always inspired by people who have found their calling, by people who have found their dreams and are not afraid of pursuing them. This is how I see Pamela, and her store Laosa is a happy place in the heart of Stratford. It looks spacious, it looks welcoming, the light is nice, and the distribution of everything, so it works.
Thank you.
What inspired you to have a business like this?
Well, this is kind of like the third version of my business, I guess. So my first business, I started in 2008 or 2009, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, it was called Second Life Designs. So it was still, I guess it was a creative outlet for me. I was designing jewelry and making things and selling them. I was still in university at the time, so it really was a creative outlet and sort of like a challenge for myself to do as a hobby, but also as something I was passionate about. And it was like a change from being in school, and I didn't really know what my career was going to be. So I ended up continuing with that business after I graduated, sort of part-time. And then eventually I rebranded and focused in just on jewelry after a few years and renamed my business Laosa. And then a few years after that, I opened a retail location and started bringing in other things like vintage items, vintage clothing, and other products.
Why Laosa?
So, you obviously know Laosa means the bear. My last name.
The mama bear.
Yeah, my last name is Coneybeare. So there's always lots of bear associations, just like as a nickname and as a symbol. And after I studied Spanish in university, and I lived in Mexico as an exchange student. So that's why I learned Spanish many years ago.
Do you ever practice it?
Necesito practicar más.
Súper.
Vamos a practicar.
Sí, me encanta. Me encanta hablar español, aunque sea un poquito, en Stratford. Porque no mucha gente habla español acá.
No. Okay, vamos a practicar.
Me gusta,
Yeah.
Súper.
My favorite section, because that's where most of the dresses are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you need to because when you're in a vintage store, you really need to kind of look at things one at a time.
Mm-hmm.
So if you just breeze past it, you can miss a lot of things. So you really just have to one at a time look at it, which is kind of the fun.
Yeah. What about you? When you go to a thrift store, what is one thing that you will never leave without checking? You're like,
Sweaters.
What is something, so this business has obviously had its, trajectory.
Yes.
That's the word. What is something about your business that people don't understand or that people get wrong?
I think what people don't know about owning your own business in general is just how hard it is.
Yes.
if you have never done it or if you don't do it. But specifically about my business, what I'm doing a lot of now is selling vintage items and sourcing vintage items. And I don't know if people necessarily know how much work and time and energy goes in behind the scenes in order to present vintage items in a retail space that makes them look clean and fresh and new and beautiful. And so a lot of work goes into sourcing and finding, but basically cleaning, stain treating, getting rid of smells, getting rid of stains, mending. If just like me, English is your second language, go to Hello Accent to find out the meaning of the word mending.
Do people love those on your social media?
Yes,
you post some of those
people love that behind the scenes stuff.
Nice.
Yeah, which is also something I never really thought about talking or sharing that much, because it's the unglamorous part of it.
We like not glamorous stuff, things that people can relate to.
Yeah, so I don't know if people would think how much time goes into that part of it. Sometimes money, I'm spending money to have things repaired and altered that I can't do myself, dry cleaned that I can't do. Buying vintage items is something that
never crossed my mind before moving to Canada. Where I come from, not even secondhand stores are popular. But now I see so much value in the history of an item, in the work that goes behind it, into making it look like brand new. Vintage shopping is so much fun. Who would have thought?
It's Pamela or Pam? What do you prefer?
Pamela.
Pamela. Okay.
Yeah.
I like it. It's what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Stylish.
Oh, thanks. When I was a kid, people called me Pam, but now I just
No, we don't do that
I feel like
anymore.
it doesn't fit.
You know what? I actually like that you say that because I used to like people calling me Ellie, and I don't like it anymore. I'm like, I actually love Elizabeth.
You just grew out of it.
I grew
Yeah,
out of it.
Same.
That's the word.
Same.
What is something that you're particularly grateful for in your life?
I feel really grateful for having a super supportive network of family and friends and a really supportive partner, especially when I'm thinking about my business and where my life is right now. If I didn't have him as a huge supporter, I do not know if I would be able to have kept doing this. It's really, especially over the last few years, it's been very challenging.
Do you have any advice for people who are going to start like a business for the first time in Canada?
I think you should ask a lot of people a lot of questions before you start. Like, just
Do research.
do research and like ask anyone a question. Like, you might feel embarrassed to ask questions, or you might be like, why would this person tell me this? But I think just like ask questions, because it's really hard to kind of like pick out all the things that you are going to be doing as a business owner if you've never done it before. So like the more insight you can get and the more like little snippets of what it would be like will just set you up for being more prepared. And I also think entrepreneurs are very supportive and helpful of
True,
others. So
true.
I mean, you may never you don't know who you may end up talking to or asking, but they could be someone who's super supportive and helpful of you down the road. So I think just ask people questions.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for having us. This
You're
was
welcome.
Lovely.
Thanks for coming in. Thanks. It was fun chatting.
Yeah, it's a nice store. It's really well located, and I really hope that lots of people come and visit you this spring and summer.
I hope so too. Can't wait for summer. Yeah.
Bye. Ciao. Gracias.